before the relentless noise of the external world and the chaotic matrix of external expectations dictate your day, intentionally stop. Right here, in this sacred time, draw a deep, anchoring breath into the center of your physical being. Inhale slowly, pulling restorative air into the quietest chambers of your stomach. Hold it for a singular heartbeat, allowing pure oxygen to gather up the stagnant, anxious energy you unknowingly carry. Exhale, permanently dropping the massive boulder of unspoken frustrations from your exhausted shoulders. Completely unclench your jaw, soften your eyes, drop your shoulders away from your ears. You are fundamentally safe in this space. You are fiercely recognized for your radiant, raw essence, understood in a high vibrational frequency that speaks directly to your ancient soul. We are currently standing at a staggering, intensely complex, and deeply revealing energetic intersection. The date is April 16. This is absolutely not a day for casual observation, and it is certainly not a day for playing small, hiding your emotional depth, or retreating into the familiar, suffocating shadows of your old coping mechanisms. This is a day of absolute, breathtaking, and terrifyingly beautiful cosmic intervention. On this highly specific, mathematically precise point in the universe, we are being ignited by a rare, profoundly powerful astrological alignment known as a planetary parade. 4 massive, fundamentally different planetary forces, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, are lining up in a spectacular, undeniable straight line across the heavens. And exactly as this massive wall of energy forms, the sensitive, deeply intuitive moon moves into a direct, explosive conjunction with both the fiery warrior Mars and the cold, unyielding, karmic taskmaster Saturn. These are not just distant celestial bodies moving silently in the dark, cold void of space. These are literal energetic codes, massive, structural software updates for your human experience, being downloaded directly into your nervous system, your heart space, and your root chakra. They are completely, irrevocably rewriting your internal blueprint for love, breaking down the ancient illusions you have carried, and forcing you into a state of absolute, undeniable, romantic reality. Let us deeply, courageously examine what is actually happening within your spirit, as this immense parade of planets takes hold of your romantic destiny. For a very, very long time, you have been operating under the heavy, intoxicating, and deeply confusing spell of Neptune. Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, illusions, and the rose-colored glasses. Because of your deep, beautifully tender heart, your profound capacity for empathy, and your intense desire for a cinematic, soul-deep connection, you have lived in a chronic, agonizing state of romantic projection. You have taken people who were profoundly emotionally unavailable, entirely unhealed, or simply incapable of matching your depth, and you have painted over their glaring red flags with the beautiful, sparkling colors of their potential. You have desperately, constantly fallen in love with who someone could be rather than who they actually were. You have gone to absolute war against your own intuition, ignoring the cold, hard facts of their inconsistent behavior to defend the fantasy of the relationship in your head. You took your primal, vital, emotional life force, your beautiful capacity for raw, passionate devotion, and you poured it into an endless, bottomless, energetic black hole, genuinely believing that if you just loved them hard enough, if you were just patient enough, you could magically heal them and turn the illusion into reality. You convinced yourself that the confusion, the anxiety, and the constant feeling of being unmoored were just part of a complex soulmate connection. You fell deeply, tragically, into the devastating habit of spiritualizing toxic behavior. You became fiercely addicted to the noble, exhausting, completely self-destructive crusade of being their savior, their anchor, their endless reservoir of unearned forgiveness. You confuse the absolute exhaustion of this endless, unwinnable performance with the feeling of profound romantic depth. You mistook the suffocating fog of Neptunian illusion for a grand love story. But as the profound, transformative energy of this April 16 alignment peaks, Saturn, the heavy, undeniable planet of karma, harsh reality, structure, and absolute truth, steps directly into the path of your illusion. Saturn does not care about potential. Saturn does not care about what someone promised you in a midnight whisper. Saturn only cares about what is tangibly, consistently, and physically being built in the real world. And as the moon, your deepest, most vulnerable emotional core, joins Saturn and the fiery, aggressive energy of Mars, the frozen fog of your romantic illusions is suddenly, violently, and beautifully shattering against the concrete wall of reality. This alignment is sparking a massive, irreversible spiritual awakening directly within your heart chakra and your gut intuition. It is the sudden, striking, physical realization of the spiritual warrior who finally stops accepting breadcrumbs while staring at a banquet. You are experiencing a literal, physical shockwave of emotional clarity. The heavy, intoxicating, deeply addictive fantasy is breaking into a million unrecoverable pieces. You are suddenly seeing the past, the toxic dynamics, the endless swallowing of your pride, and the agonizing lack of true, reciprocal effort with a stark, almost blinding, terrifying realism. You are looking at the people you tried to save, the connections you tried to force into alignment, and for the first time, you do not feel the desperate urge to make excuses for them. You do not feel the heavy, clawing responsibility to wait for them to realize your worth. You are feeling the brilliant, sharp, deeply protective fire of Mars waking up inside your emotional body. You are finally deeply understanding that your vital, brilliant love was never meant to be wasted on someone who required you to constantly read between the lines just to find a shred of evidence that they cared. This is the absolute, permanent death of the hopeful sufferer within your romantic blueprint. You are finally dropping the heavy, rusted mask of endless patience. You are taking your immense, beautiful, terrifying emotional power back from the ghosts of potential. You are finally realizing that true, sovereign love requires the absolute, terrifying courage to look at the reality of how someone treats you and to let your protective anger speak when your energetic boundaries are crossed. The universe is not just breaking your heart, it is breaking the invisible chains of a karmic loop that has kept you trapped for lifetimes. Protsavot, it is immediately, beautifully rushing in to fortify your spirit with a tidal wave of unimaginable, fiercely protective, undeniable truth. Because exactly as you drop the illusion, the skies open up and deliver the pure, undeniable clarity of Mercury, giving you the exact words, the exact mental sharpness to finally close the door. Listen to the sound of my voice and let these words sink into the deepest, most permanent layers of your subconscious mind. Saturn is doing the profound work of pulling the rug out from under your toxic fantasies, while Mars is handing you the magnificent, golden sword of undeniable courage to sever the cords. For so long, you have operated in a state of romantic starvation. You genuinely believed that love meant suffering, waiting, and constantly proving your worth to someone who was committed to misunderstanding you. This planetary parade is stepping powerfully into your energetic field, placing its heavy, incredibly steady hands firmly on your shoulders, looking you dead in the eye, and whispering a profound, ultimate truth into your soul. Your profound capacity to love is a divine gift, not a dumping ground for other people's unhealed trauma. Your desire for consistency is not an inconvenience. It is the absolute bare minimum requirement of a healthy partnership. True, authentic, profoundly aligned love is not supposed to require you to constantly decode mixed signals or beg for basic respect. You are currently undergoing a radical, highly accelerated emotional and psychological upgrade. You are being recalibrated by the heavy, anchoring weight of Saturn to only accept connections that are built on solid, unbreakable foundations. You find yourself suddenly, inexplicably repulsed by the flighty, inconsistent, deeply indirect dynamics that you used to tolerate. The idea of waiting for them to be ready, the idea of having to perform exhausting emotional gymnastics just to get a text back, suddenly feels profoundly insulting to your spirit. You are looking at the confusing, emotionally unavailable patterns you used to accept, and you are feeling an unshakable, elevated intolerance for anything less than absolute, burning devotion, total honesty, and physical consistency. This is not you becoming cold. This is you becoming sovereign. This is you stepping into the absolute luxury of your own unapologetic reality. You are realizing that you do not want a partner who requires you to live in a fantasy world just to survive the relationship. You want a partner who makes the real world feel safer than any dream you could ever construct. You want a connection that feels like standing on a solid, immovable mountain after a lifetime of drowning in a turbulent, unpredictable ocean. You are demanding, with the quiet, terrifying confidence of a fully awakened soul, a love that is expansive, courageous, fiercely protective, intensely practical, and entirely free of hidden agendas or empty promises. And because you are finally demanding it, because you are no longer accepting the illusion, the universe is expanding your magnetism to an entirely unprecedented level. By aligning with the strict, structural integrity of Saturn and the passionate, decisive action of Mars, you are quite literally becoming a walking, breathing, blazing magnet for high-vibrational, fully realized, securely attached, deeply grounded love. You are calling in a partner who does not flinch when you ask for clarity. You are calling in an equal, a sovereign architect who is ready to build an empire of love with you, brick by brick, action by action, reality by reality. You are calling in someone who has fought their own internal battles, conquered their own fear of commitment, and is now standing completely whole, capable of meeting you in the physical world without hiding behind excuses. Someone who looks at your depth and does not try to exploit it, but instead matches it with their own unwavering presence. This massive energetic shift is not just about romance. It is about the absolute convergence of all forms of your personal power. As you clear the dense, heavy illusions from your heart, you are simultaneously unblocking massive rivers of self-respect, confidence, and leadership that were waiting for you to simply feel worthy of the truth. You will notice over the next few days that opportunities, people, and serendipitous moments of sheer, grounded alignment will start arriving at your doorstep. A sudden urge to permanently delete a number, an unexpected breakthrough in how you defend your time, a brilliant wave of raw clarity that demands to be honored. You will feel a radiant, blazing heat expanding in your chest, a deep, cellular, knowing that the universe is no longer teaching you through the heartbreak of broken potential. It is now teaching you through the profound peace of undeniable reality. You ask yourself, why did I ever accept the fantasy when I was born with the capacity to build a legendary, tangible reality? Why did I let the fear of being alone convince me to hold on to people who made me feel like my standards were too high? Do not dare to judge the past versions of yourself for the illusions they clung to. They did the absolute best they could with the unhealed wounds of abandonment they carried. They were desperately trying to find a safe harbor in a world that had incorrectly taught them that they had to earn love through suffering and sacrifice. I want you to deeply, profoundly, and entirely forgive yourself right now. I want you to let the sound of my voice be the final, absolute permission you need to completely release the heavy burden of your past romantic illusions. Let your physical voice vibrate in the actual air around you. Do not just think this, actually speak it out loud. or scream it silently into the center of your mind with the force of a supernova. I completely and unconditionally forgive myself for loving the illusion of who they could have been. I forgive myself for fighting silent, exhausting wars within my own mind to justify their lack of effort. I forgive myself for pouring my sacred, golden energy into connections that had no foundation in reality. I forgive myself for believing I had to be a savior to be worthy of deep connection. I completely release the heavy chains of my past karmic loops. I completely sever all energetic cords to the people who needed me to live in a fantasy so they could avoid their own reality. I call all of my vital, brilliant, passionate, fiercely grounded energy back to my own heart. I am finally, deeply, and irrevocably open to the absolute abundance of safe, tangible, consistent, and unconditionally real love. Breathe that massive, world-altering declaration deeply into your cells. Feel the actual physical shift in the room. Feel the air become highly charged, yet deeply anchored. Feel the chronic emotional density and confusion permanently leaving your chest. You have absolutely not lost a single ounce of your potential by letting go of the fantasy, by walking away from the false safety of your illusions, by stepping directly into the Saturnian reality and the Martian fire. You have just freed up a massive, staggering amount of energy that is now rushing entirely into the physical manifestation of your absolute highest timeline. What you are experiencing as this planetary parade peaks is a profound, incredibly necessary, and wildly explosive romantic liberation. You are crossing the burning bridge from the timeline of the delusional dreamer directly into the timeline of the grounded, sovereign creator. You will be tested in the coming weeks. The ghosts of your old, addictive fantasies will likely try to drift back in. An ex or a toxic dynamic might reach out with a confusing, breadcrumbing text, a late-night call, a vague promise of change, expecting the old you to just smile, abandon your boundaries, and buy into the dream one last time. They will want to see if the gullible version of you is still available. They will want to see if they can still get access to your brilliant light without having to actually put in the work to build a real foundation. When they do this, you are going to experience the ultimate, exhilarating victory of your brand new frequency. You will look at the drama, the empty words, the expectation for you to wait, and you will feel absolutely nothing but a calm, elevated, completely untouchable, deeply grounded certainty. You will see the illusion for exactly what it is, and for the first time, you will not overanalyze it. You will look at them, and you will simply, elegantly, and fiercely hold your boundary. Because in the reality of Saturn, only actions speak. Words are entirely meaningless. You will quietly, beautifully, and decisively close the door, both in the physical world and in the vast quantum field of your own heart. By refusing to step backward into the fog, by absolutely refusing to re-enter the chaotic matrix of potential you just broke out of, you are sending a massive, undeniable shockwave directly to the universe. You are declaring with unshakable, terrifying finality that your romantic reality is entirely non-negotiable. And the universe, powered by the incredible structural integrity of this planetary parade, will respond by handing you the keys to the kingdom. It will bring you the love that does not require you to guess where you stand. It will bring you the profound, beautiful peace of a life where your internal emotional safety perfectly matches your external romantic reality, where your heart is a fortress of truth and your intuition is an unbreakable compass of magnificent manifestation. You are completely ready. You have spent lifetimes in emotional confusion and in silent waiting, preparing for this exact shift in consciousness. The brutal, necessary lessons of your past illusions have successfully forged an impenetrable, glowing shield of radical self-respect around your spirit. Take one final, incredibly deep, anchoring breath. Place both of your hands firmly and warmly over your heart center and press your feet flat against the floor, feeling the absolute solidity of the earth beneath you. Close your eyes. Feel the steady, ancient, entirely reliable pulse of your own passionate, grounded life force beneath your palms. Feel the potential of every ounce of love you have ever given away, not as a loss, not as a waste, but as a massive, beautiful reservoir of power that is returning directly to you. That vibration is your ultimate truth. That physical sensation is your magic. That grounded, unshakable reality is your true, permanent weapon of light. Everything you have experienced up until this moment, every tear, every betrayal, every agonizing hour spent analyzing mixed signals, was merely the turbulent, necessary bridge to get you exactly here, to this very moment, to this very breath, to this profound realization of your staggering, breathtaking power to demand and receive a love that is entirely real. This beautiful, glowing, untouchable core within you is entirely yours. It is completely impervious to anyone else's illusions, and it is now wide open to broadcast the absolute best, most authentic, incredibly grounded version of your soul to this universe. If these words have successfully bypassed the heavy, exhausted guards of your logical mind and spoken directly, intimately, to the deep, ancient wisdom of your spirit, if you have felt the physical shift in your body, the sudden release of confusion in your mind, the quiet, powerful anchoring of truth in your chest as you listen to this transmission, do not let this wildly powerful energetic window close without firmly claiming it. Like this message. Do not do it just out of an unconscious, scrolling habit, but let the physical action of tapping the screen be a deliberate, grounded, physical signature on your new, unbreakable contract with the cosmos. It is you firmly, bravely declaring that you are finally ready to step out of the illusion and receive the abundance that comes from absolute, tangible truth. Share your journey, your release, and your deep, brilliant realizations in the comments below. Declare your brand new standard of reality. Use your actual words. Tell the universe exactly what kind of illusions you are no longer available to tolerate, and exactly what kind of fierce, consistent, structurally sound love you are calling in. Let the physical manifestation of your typed words act as an unbreakable, heavy, energetic anchor for your brand new, incredibly brilliant timeline of emotional sovereignty and romantic truth. There is an immense, undeniably magnetic, and deeply world-shifting power in actively witnessing each other's profound spiritual awakening into reality. We are finally realizing that the seemingly solitary, intensely painful path of breaking our illusions is not a lonely journey at all, but rather a massive, collective, earth-shaking roar of rapidly elevating conscious souls demanding the absolute truth. Your highly specific story, your exact, unfiltered words of raw liberation, and your terrifyingly beautiful vulnerability might be the precise, exact, vibrational key that someone else desperately needs to encounter today to wake up from their own nightmare of potential. Your newly found grounding might be the exact frequency required to help them finally drop their own rose-colored glasses, release their deeply ingrained fear of reality, and step into their own sovereign power. Subscribe to this exact frequency of absolute romantic liberation and undeniable truth. Keep your spirit strictly and beautifully tethered to this highly elevated, unapologetic, grounded vibration as we continue to actively, bravely navigate these massive, paradigm-shifting cosmic waves together in the powerful, deeply real months to come. Now, take one more intentional, physically anchoring breath. Breathe in the crystal clear, utterly brilliant, and fiercely real reality of this present, sacred moment. Let it physically fill your lungs. Fill your entire, magnificent human vessel with the vibrant, luxurious, golden energy of your completely unapologetic, beautifully grounded, brand new beginning. Exhale the thin, pathetic, desperately tired echoes of your past fantasies and karmic loops. Blow those heavy, suffocating memories of waiting and wishing away into the infinite cosmic ether, sending them permanently back to the absolute nothingness from which they originally came. You are profoundly, incredibly, and undeniably safe to live in reality. You are completely, beautifully, and fiercely sovereign. You are wonderfully, miraculously, and loudly whole just as you are, entirely worthy of a love that shows up for you in the physical world. The suffocating era of loving potential is permanently over. The toxic illusion of the waiting game is dead. The expansive, abundantly consistent, and fiercely real manifestation of your authentic love story is finally here. Welcome home, beautiful soul, to the magnificent, undeniable, structurally unbreakable roar of your own true greatness.